In the mountains of ancient China, two men met in the middle of an extremely narrow wooden bridge suspended over a bottomless gorge. Neither could cross without the other stepping back. The first man, a scholar filled with titles and absolute certainty, shouted, "Step aside! I am in the right. I arrived here first, and my time is far more valuable than yours." The second man, an old traveler in humble clothes, simply smiled. The scholar began to recite laws, logic, and moral principles to prove why he deserved to pass first. He was so obsessed with being right that his muscles tensed up, his face turned bright red, and he began to lose his balance. In his desperate effort to win the argument, he nearly fell into the abyss. Then, the old man quietly took a step back, pressed himself against the edge of the bridge, and gestured politely for the scholar to pass. The scholar walked by triumphantly, yelling, "See, I told you I was right!" From the safety of his silence, the old man simply watched the scholar walk away, carrying the heavy weight of his own arrogance. Meanwhile, the old man returned to the peace of the mountain, having wasted not a single ounce of energy on a useless battle. That old man was no coward. He was a master of the natural way. He had discovered something your ego refuses to accept, that winning an argument is almost always the most elegant way to lose your peace. I have a question for you. How much is being right costing you? Look at your relationships, your arguments on social media, your daily tensions at work. You live in a perpetual war to prove that your view of the world is the correct one. You have turned your opinions into your identity, and now, every time someone disagrees with you, you feel like they are attacking your very existence. You are exhausted from defending a fortress that no one actually wants to conquer. Today, we are going to explore the art of intellectual letting go. We will understand why not being right is, in reality, the greatest superpower you can cultivate in a world full of shouting. Get ready to discover that true victory isn't about convincing others. It's about being light enough so that other people's opinions have nowhere to land. Why do we fight so fiercely for the last word? It's not out of a love for the truth, it's out of fear. Your ego is a fragile structure that constantly craves validation. To the ego, being right is the same as existing. If the other person is right, you lose. And when you lose, the ego feels like it is dying. That's why our arguments escalate so quickly. You aren't defending an idea, you are defending your psychological survival. Ancient wisdom warns us that rigidity is a symptom of death. A dry tree is hard and snaps easily under pressure. Water is soft and eventually wears down the hardest stone. When you cling tightly to an opinion, you turn yourself into stone. You become predictable, vulnerable, and heavy. The elegance of not needing to be right begins when you understand that truth isn't a trophy to be owned, but a river to flow with. Anyone who believes they possess the absolute truth has stopped looking for it. By letting go of the need to win, you reclaim something most people have lost: curiosity. A wise person is elegant because they offer no resistance. With nothing to defend, they can never be defeated. Imagine a river flowing toward the sea. If the river hits a giant rock along its path, what does it do? Does it stop to argue with the rock? Does it try to convince the rock that it should move? Does it feel insulted by its presence? No, the water simply flows around it. It continues on its course. Sometimes it even uses the obstacle to splash higher and create a beautiful waterfall. The water doesn't waste its time trying to make the rock act like water. You, on the other hand, spend your entire life trying to make the rocks in your path think like you. You want your partner, your parents, or your coworkers to become water, and you get deeply frustrated because the rock stays a rock. Practicing the elegance of being wrong means acting like water. It's recognizing that other people have their own nature, their own struggles, and their own limitations. When you stop trying to correct the world to fit your expectations, you stop crashing against it. Peace doesn't arrive when everyone finally agrees with you. It arrives when you stop caring if they do. Water is invincible because it has no fixed shape to be wounded. An ancient wise master once said, "Those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know." This is a direct reality check for our modern culture of endless experts and commentators. We think that admitting "I don't know" or "you might be right" is a sign of weakness. But in the ancient philosophy of the flow, emptiness is the source of all usefulness. What is a room used for if it is filled with solid concrete up to the ceiling? Nothing. Its value lies entirely in the empty space that allows people to enter and live in it. Your mind is exactly the same. If it is filled to the brim with certainties, prejudices, and immovable truths, it becomes a useless mind. It cannot receive anything new. Accepting that you might not be right allows you to listen to someone you disagree with and genuinely think, "What a fascinating perspective. I wonder what has happened in their life to make them see the world that way." Instead of building a wall of arguments, you build a bridge of curiosity. By letting go of the need to be right, you become vast, easily holding the whole universe within your open space. Think back to your last big argument. How did you feel afterward? Were you filled with energy and peace? Probably not. You likely felt drained. Your heart was racing, and you had a bitter taste in your mouth. Even if you won, the price you paid was your own tranquility and physical well-being. There is a beautiful art to living with effortless action, doing what is necessary without unnecessary struggle. And there is absolutely nothing that requires more exhausting effort than trying to change the mind of someone who has no desire to change. It is one of the greatest energy leaks of modern life. Deciding to let go of being right is a vital decision for your personal energy. It's like saying, "My peace of mind is worth more than your education." This isn't arrogance, it is self-compassion. When you yield in a trivial argument, you aren't losing. You are buying time, buying silence, and buying your own freedom. The wise person prefers happiness over being right because they know that being right is just a social label, but peace is a state of the soul. The deepest secret about conflict is this: often, both sides are right from their own perspective. Reality is multidimensional. What looks like a 6 to one person looks like a 9 to another, depending entirely on where they are standing. The ego obsesses over its single viewpoint. Wisdom embraces the whole picture. When you demand to be right, you're denying half of reality. You're insisting that north is somehow better than south. True elegance is accepting the paradox. It is being able to say, "I completely understand why you see it that way, and I understand why I see it differently." In that space of acceptance, the conflict vanishes. There is no longer anyone to fight, because you've realized we're all just looking at different parts of the same elephant in the dark. How do we actually bring this to our family dinners or tense office meetings? It's not about becoming spineless or giving up on your values. It's about having values so solid that you don't need anyone else to validate them. First, the observer's pause. The moment you feel that heat rising in your chest, that urgent impulse to jump in and correct someone, stop. Feel your ego screaming. Look at it as a toddler throwing a tantrum. Do not hand it the steering wheel. Second, the magic phrase. Learn to say, "You have a point," or "That makes sense." This doesn't mean you agree with their logic. It simply means you respect their right to have it. It is a gentle act of grace that instantly disarms the other person. You cannot fight someone who offers no resistance. And third, detachment from the outcome. Do your work, share your opinion if you were asked, and then let go of what happens next. If they don't listen to you, if they don't understand you, if they judge you unfairly, let it pass. Water keeps flowing even when looked at with disapproval. At the end of the day, the desire to be right is the desire to be special, to be superior, to be someone important. But absolute freedom comes when you allow yourself to be no one. When you are no one, you have no reputation to defend. You have no status to maintain. You have no truths to impose. You walk through the world with the lightness of the wind. Letting go of being right is a return to innocence. It is the peace of someone who no longer has to carry the heavy burden of being the universe's judge. Look around you. Let people be wrong. Let the world be imperfect. Let the other person win the argument.
You keep the silence, because in the end, the person who doesn't need to be right is the only one who has already found the truth. Thank you for allowing me to share this space with you. If these words brought a sense of quiet to your day, subscribe and share your thoughts. What argument are you going to stop trying to win today to get your peace back? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, walk lightly, leave no footprint, and drop the heavy burden of being right.